Hello and welcome to Loyola Room Selection 2023-2024. This presentation is designed to provide a general overview of the room selection process. Now, if you have specific questions that we don't answer in this presentation, please contact Student Life to speak with a member of the Housing Operations team, and we'll be happy to clear things up for you. Let's get going. Our theme this year, like a good neighbor, housing is there. Here are your resources. You are not alone. We're going to help you through the whole thing. You can use the Returning Student Room Selection Guide, which will be a helpful PDF located on the website. It'll also be sent to you via email. You can also use the videos that we'll put in the RoomRes housing portal throughout the application. You can also use your RA, your GRC, your AD of your area. All of our Student Life staff members will be trained to help you through this process. Here are the important dates. Maybe take a picture if you need to, or save this screen somewhere. This is what we need you to follow. You'll first need to be watching this overview. So far, so good. Then, between January 30th, February 2nd, and February 8th, we have 3 different Zoom webinars for frequently asked questions. Log into any of those, and you'll get that information via your email about when those dates are. On February 1st, the new housing accommodation requests through DSS are due. That is an important deadline for those that wish to seek a disability support services accommodation that impacts your housing. By February 6th, the Phase 1 application will open. By the 20th, Phase 1 closes. On the 22nd of February, Phase 2 opens, followed by February 28th, which is the Roommate Search Social. We're bringing those back this year. On March 16th, Phase 2 closes. On the 30th, lottery selection times will be emailed to your Loyola email. And then the 3 dates of room selection are April 13th for rising seniors, or any group that includes rising seniors, April 14th, which is groups that may include rising juniors, and April 18th, which is for groups that are including rising sophomores. Now, some of these dates may change based on how the semester is going, but our target is to provide you with our housing assignment confirmation emails by April 28th. Now, it is essential that deadlines are met. We include these early and frequent so that you can follow along. Many of our processes in housing occur in a domino effect with other campus offices, and so we must abide by these deadlines. Now, if you have questions or a conflict, please be proactive about this and contact Student Life before one of these deadlines. I'd recommend putting these dates in your calendar now. But let's move on. Phase 1 is your personal application. The application can be found in RoomRes. First, you'll log into inside.loyola.edu, and you'll click RoomRes Housing Portal beneath the Around Campus heading. Then click Applications. You can see it in the image in the right in yellow. You can then select Apply for the 2023 to 2024 academic year by pressing the Apply button. For each phase of the application, you'll continue to move to the next web screen. One of those important pieces of Phase 1 is the residential intent. All Loyola University Maryland students that are not graduating in May are required to complete Phase 1. This means your on-campus students, your off-campus students, your abroad students. Let me run through a few of those examples. If you are planning to live on campus, you will select, I intend to live on campus. If you are planning to live off campus or you are commuting from home, you would select, I do not intend to live on campus for the fall semester. If you are studying abroad in the fall of 2023, you will again select, I do not intend to live on campus for the fall semester. If you are transferring or not returning to Loyola at all in the fall, then please select, I am transferring and will not return to Loyola. Depending on how you respond to this question, your application will then direct you to the appropriate page. If you're considering transferring, but you're not certain, please contact Student Life to discuss how to complete this process. Students who indicate that they are transferring will not be able to register for fall classes at Loyola, something to keep in mind as you're making your decisions. Depending on the selection that you made on the previous screen, you will be directed to a specific deposit amount. Now, there are 2 deposit amounts depending on your residential intent. If you plan to live on campus, you pay a tuition and a housing deposit, which totals $600. You will then be able to continue through the application. If you are planning to live off campus, you will pay just a $300 tuition only deposit. You will then choose a meal plan and then answer living off campus questions. If you're studying abroad in the fall, you will still pay a $300 study abroad deposit for your tuition, and you will not choose a meal plan. And then if you're transferring and not returning, there are no additional steps after confirming your intent on that page. In order to pay your deposit, you will do so within RoomRes via credit card. Families and other stakeholders cannot make these payments on behalf of you. You will need to collect payment information prior to starting your application so that you're ready when that page comes up. The RoomRes application will show you the correct deposit based on the intent that you selected previously. You cannot proceed through the application until you make that payment. Also, do not exit on the deposit website. Exiting out on that page will not collect your payment information and may show that you did not pay the deposit. You must continue until you are redirected back into the application. You're going to be using your Loyola ID number throughout the deposit page, and this deposit is non-refundable. If you've got questions about paying your deposit, contact Student Administrative Services directly at sas@loyola.edu. Let's run through your Phase 1 checklist. You'll need to update your personal information. You'll need to update your emergency and missing person information. You'll need to make your residential intent and then pay your deposit. You'll sign and submit your housing contract. You'll also update your roommate questionnaire. Now, it's unlikely that you're exactly the same person as you were last year or when you first did this roommate questionnaire, so it's definitely important that you update that. You'll then need to decide on renter's insurance. Loyola partners with GradGuard to provide insurance for students. You can choose to opt in or out on that page. You will then choose your meal plan. Different meal plans will be available to you depending on what your class year is. For more information on what meal plan is good for you, you should go to the Dining Services website and learn more about what each plan is recommended for. You will then decide on substance-free or global connections housing. If you're living off campus or studying abroad, your checklist is a bit different. You'll update your personal information and emergency and missing person information. You'll make that residential intent and pay the according deposit. And then you will get a living off campus page and you'll select a meal plan. Some important reminders for Phase 1. A completed Phase 1 housing application will have the status of application complete, not assigned, RA or RA group if you were selected to be a resident assistant. It will say off-campus if you've selected off-campus as your intent, or it will say transferring if you selected transferring as your intent. Students not living on campus will not sign a housing contract. Make sure you share these plans with your families and support figures now so that you can have the best plan moving forward. Students are able to change their residential intent information through the Phase 2 deadline, so you can get back into Phase 1 until that Phase 2 deadline. If a student's residential plans change, you must contact Student Life before making alternative plans. It would be a very good idea to speak with Loyola before placing a deposit or signing a lease or anything of that nature if you've already identified that you intend to live on campus at Loyola. Students who don't complete Phase 1 by the deadline will have an academic hold placed on their account. That will prevent you from registering for fall classes. So Phase 1 is extremely important. After that Phase 2 deadline, we cannot add students to roommate groups. And so students no longer interested in living on campus must submit a request to cancel their housing contract, which is not a guaranteed endeavor. But now let's talk about Phase 2, roommate group formation. All residents are required to be in a complete roommate group. What do I mean by complete group? I mean an even number of 2, 4, 6, or 8 students. Now please note, groups of 2 and 8 have very, very limited numbers of housing on our campus. It's very likely that those selecting on the upperclassmen days will probably take those rooms and they will be less available for the younger class years. It is more recommended that you and your group make a 4 or a 6-person group. That is our largest number of inventory on campus. During Phase 2, students will need to verify their membership in a group. Everyone should be listed under a group name. On the right side, you can see in the upper right photo, you can see that you are not currently in a group. And so you can either create a group or join someone else's group, either looking their group up or being invited. In the bottom right, you can see what it would look like to be in a group. You can see the group name, EDH, etc., etc. And if you see your name there, then you know that you are part of a group. After the phase 2 deadline, we will compare the number of each group size to the number of units available of that size and confirm with students whether they will be able to select during phase 3 of housing, which is the room selection phase. If we don't anticipate having a unit of your size, we will contact your group to discuss other options. For example, if you really want to be in an 8-person room, but we don't anticipate that there will be any 8-person rooms left by the time of your lottery number, we will contact you in advance so that you can come up with a plan. Let's talk about our methods of finding a roommate. We have several different search tools built into the portal that students have been very successful using. First is that word of mouth. Talking to your people in class, in your other organizations or groups or extracurricular activities. Talk to these folks, talk to your current roommates, see if anybody is interested in joining a roommate group together. You can also search for a specific roommate group. The image on the right shows on the right side of that image, you can see those search selection options. Search for roommate group, search for roommate by detail, search for roommate by profile. Those are where you would type in or select a specific entry. The roommate group search allows you to search for a group based on the size or specific people in a group. You can search for roommates by detail. This allows you to type in somebody's specific username, maybe an age group, a graduating year, or specific bio information. Let's say you're looking for somebody who's a Ravens fan. So in the search credential, you may want to select Raven or Ravens in the bio and see if that pops up for anybody. You might have some common ground that way. Next, you can search for roommates by profile, which will allow you to search based on roommate questionnaire answers. Now, you'll be able to filter, and I highly recommend that you filter no more than 3 types of questionnaire answers, or it will be too specific and you will lose out on a lot of possible great matches. Lastly, the Suggest Roommates tool people have a lot of success with. This allows the algorithm of RoomRes to provide a long list of people based on compatibility with your roommate questionnaire answers. And you may want to send them a message, you may want to view their profile, and you can see where to do that on the right side of the screen there. Our goal is to help everyone get into a complete group, so if you are struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out to Student Life and we'll help you out. If you're looking for roommates, you may consider coming to the Roommate Search Mixer. It's Tuesday, February 28th. The location will be provided later in February. For the class of 2024, your mixer will be between 7 and 8 p.m. For the class of 2025, 8 to 9 p.m. And for the class of 26, 9 to 10 p.m. You'll get more details about this in February. At Loyola, you are not restricted within class year. You also could attend any of these hour sessions. You don't have to specifically go to the one in your class year. Still need a little bit more help? We're hoping to see some step-by-step. In the Returning Student Housing Selection Guide, that's a PDF available on the website, as well as you'll receive via email. How to create a roommate group is on page 30. How to join one is on page 31. How to search is on page 39. I want to offer a few reminders to you as well. Only verified groups can live together, so make sure you or the group leader are verifying. Only students who complete phase 1 can be added to groups. If you haven't completed phase 1, you're not even visible to other people who are in the roommate search phase, so be sure that you are finished there. You can live with any class year, as I mentioned previously. It is not a restriction here at Loyola. And you're going to receive email updates as your group changes. So if you've got a big roommate group and people are being added or people are being removed, you'll get emails about that as well. And if you can't find a friend or can't find somebody that you know should be visible, ask them if they've been assigned to housing or if they've joined another group. It is possible that they already have an alternative housing plan. So reach out to them and see if they may have something else in mind already. And if you have trouble, please don't hesitate to contact us at Student Life. Now let's talk about phase 3, room selection itself. Your lottery time will be emailed to you directly at your Loyola email. Times are randomly assigned by class year. Each group is assigned a class year by looking at the highest graduation year of all members. So if you've got 3 rising sophomores and 1 rising senior in your 4-person group, you are part of the rising senior class year. You just need one person of a higher class year to be categorized in that year. April 13th is for groups that includes a rising senior. April 14th for groups that include rising juniors. April 18th, groups that only include rising sophomores. All group members will get the same selection time, and you will get that communicated to you on March 30th. However, only the group leader can log into the room selection page. So on room selection date, please do not also log in. It will slow our system down to have too many students in there at the same time. Just leave it to your group leader. Now, if your group leader is unavailable during the lottery time they are provided on the room selection date, please contact us at Student Life directly. I also want to share that the way that Loyola does lottery times differs depending on the makeup of your group. 4 rising seniors, for example, will have a better lottery time than a group of 3 rising seniors and 1 junior. If you've got a question about your lottery time, please contact us at Student Life. Your group leader has to be prepared to choose at their time on their selection date. It is important that you all discuss your options that your group leader can select because it's all based on availability. You're going to want to have a couple backup plans. Use the room types document before choosing to ensure your preferred room. You'll get that room types document a little bit later in the spring semester. That will help you immensely. A list of the available rooms for your selection day will be communicated in advance so that you'll have a sense of, okay, when I've looked at the room types document, I like these. Here are the ones that are available on the day. Okay, I've got some options. Another note, you can only select a unit that matches your group size. So if you've got a 4-person group, you're only going to be able to select a unit with 4 people. You cannot select a 6-person or an 8-person unit. This image on the right will help you get a sense of what types of rooms are available in each residence hall. This is a good snapshot, and the room types document will help you out even further. The image below stating you must add all bedrooms to your cart. This is in reference to when you choose your room, it will be added to a shopping cart. You will then need to assign each of your roommates to a specific bedroom in the space. You must do this, and then you must submit your cart in order to be complete with this process. You've got to pay attention to the room capacity number, as I mentioned, or else there will be an error. Looking for more information about what's inside the halls? You can see photos and video tours of each building on the Student Life website under the Residence Hall tab. Take a look when you get a chance. Now, on those selection days, only the group leader can select during the assigned lottery date and time. If you try to choose any sooner, you'll be redirected to a holding page. So make sure you don't go too early. As I mentioned, group members stay out of the portal during the assigned lottery date and time. It'll just slow down the system and might make things more difficult for your own group leader. Group leaders, you have 15 minutes to select a room. Please be attentive. Please be aware. We will try to give you a phone call if you are late to logging into the portal at your time, but you are your best accountability, and as are your roommates. On the first page of selection, you're going to select your preferred building. The image in the bottom left will help for visual. You can then view additional buildings on the next page and select buildings using the filter. On the image on the right, on the left side, you can see in the margin the filters that are available. Again, you're going to need to assign and confirm everyone's assignment before finishing. That's the shopping cart feature. And once confirmed, you cannot change your assignment. And if you've got any issues, you got to reach out to Student Life right away. Here's some reminders and FAQs. What if you have a housing accommodation? Or what if you need one? Well, beginning in February, students with current accommodations will get an email from Disability Support Services asking them to confirm that they wish to continue and utilize it for the next year. Housing accommodations will get a separate roommate agreement that gets emailed from DSS. Now, that does not excuse anyone from completing phase 1. That is still essential. But if you have a DSS accommodation, this is the end of your application. If you're pulling in roommates or suite mates, they must also have completed phase 1. But they should not create a group in RoomRes. They are joining a room that has a DSS accommodation, and they will not go through the room selection process. Students with that housing accommodation do not self-select their housing. That is given to you based on the needs of the Student Life office and the accommodation. What if you're applying to be or you're applying to live with an RA? Well, RAs hired for that 2023 to 2024 year, they get a separate roommate agreement with their employment. Those that wish to live with an RA will fill out the form, and then the RA will submit this form to Student Life. Again, in this process, do not create a separate roommate group in RoomRes. Everyone must still complete phase 1 of the housing application to be included in this as well. What if I have concerns about making the deposit? Students that are concerned about this payment should contact Student Administrative Services prior to the start of the housing application. Remember, the payment selection happens within phase 1, so you'll need to contact SAS prior to completing this. What if I want to have a single? Well, Loyola has a limited number of units across campus that are designed as singles. If you believe it's medically necessary to have a single, please contact Disability Support Services to discuss something that might work for you before February 1st. February 1st is their deadline for new accommodation requests. What if I have a friend I want to live with, but they're going to be abroad in the fall semester? We cannot hold any bed spaces for students that are not going to be in Baltimore at Loyola during the fall. We recommend that you include someone in your roommate group, in this case, who maybe plans to study abroad in the spring. This way, the person going abroad in the spring would depart, and the person returning in the spring would arrive and fill in the space that was vacated. What if I decide I want to live off campus after the phase 2 deadline? Students must request to cancel their housing contract once it is signed. It is not a guarantee that you will be released from your housing contract. Please contact Student Life before making these alternative plans. Highly recommend you do not sign a lease and you do not make any other commitments to other housing until your housing contract has been canceled. If you've got more questions, register for one of our webinars. The 3 webinars are January 30th at 9, February 2nd at 9, and February 8th at 9. Continue to be attentive to your Loyola email for updates and reminders, as well as how to register for these FAQs. Wishing you the best of luck in your housing selection. Thanks for your time.